In this video, I will be discussing picking up stitches along a garter selvage. The key with picking up stitches along a garter selvage is to be consistent. There are a couple of spots where you could pick up stitches, and usually you're picking up one stitch per every garter ridge. Every ridge is actually 2 rows, and the fabric wants to compress vertically, so usually you are picking up 1 stitch per ridge, and typically then that will work for the stitch gauge for the fabric that is going to be made along the edge. There are a couple of spots where you could pick up. So usually to avoid bulk in a garter pickup edge, you can pick up directly in the selvage stitch. So if you do that, there are 2 spots where you could do your pickups. You could pick up along these purl bumps or the smiles of the selvage stitch, or you could pick up the side of the stitch, like so. I usually pick up these side stitches because when I pick up the purl ridge and then knit it, it ends up twisting. And I can show you what that looks like. But whereas if I pick up and knit into these, then they don't twist as badly. To help with these, usually it can be very helpful to use a double-pointed needle to, from left to right, pick up the loops that you are going to pick up. So let's say I'm going to pick up along that bind off edge, but then pick up every side leg like so. And this can be really helpful when picking up along a garter selvage. You use a double-pointed needle that is smaller than your working needles to make this easy. And then I'll pick up a loop at the cast on edge, like so. And I double check that every ridge has a loop pulled up, and it looks like it. So now I will use my working needles and work those stitches. And that is what the edge then looks like. And because I used the side of that stitch and not the purl bar bump right there, it looks pretty seamless, pretty smooth. If I had used the purl bar, it would be a little bit more bulky. I can show you what that looks like. So there are those purl bumps picked up, and can you see how the side of the stitch is located right there? So we are already not all the way to the edge of that fabric. And then when I knit these stitches, it ends up twisting or opening up those purl bars. And it doesn't look quite as smooth or as nice as the other method, in my opinion. And there it is on the back. It works, and it works just fine, but I think the other location for picking up looks better. The other option for picking up along a garter edge is to do exactly what you do along a stockinette stitch edge and go in one selvage stitch over. The issue with this in garter is that every ridge is 2 rows. So you either need to skip the knit ridge rows and pick up only every other row, and it can make kind of a bulky seam. So let me show you that. I would go 1 stitch in, and if I go here, then I need to go in every valley of the garter. So this valley, and then this valley, and then this valley, Now, that doesn't look too bad and could be acceptable. It does leave a ridge, a selvage edge here, but you might be all right with that. So that is another option with garter, but usually when you are using a garter selvage, say in a pair of socks, you are trying to avoid this, so therefore you would pick up along those selvage edge to get as flat a seam as possible. But if you were working something else and you wanted a bit more structure along this seam, then you could do a normal pickup where you use a whole selvage stitch to pick up along a garter edge. So you would just pick up one stitch for every ridge. That is picking up stitches along a garter selvage. I hope this was helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.